Hello, everyone. I'm your storyteller, Luna. Have you seen a rat before? Will you be afraid if you see rats everywhere on the street? Today, I'll share a tale called Pied Piper of Hamelin. Let's discover what happened in the story. Once upon a time, there was a small town named Hamelin in Germany. The town was beautiful, bustling with energy and wealth. But no sooner, the happiness of the town was ruined by a plague of rats. There were rats everywhere, so much so that the people of the town didn't even have a place to keep a step without tripping over the rats. They were in houses, in restaurants, in shops, in schools, and in every street. It was a menace, and a solution had to be found fast. The mayor had often held meetings with the town folks to discuss the problem. In the beginning, they had thought that cats would drive away the rats. However, the number of rats became quite a problem for them. It was very tough to take proper steps, as it was very difficult to find huge numbers of cats. They were in a real dilemma. One day, a stranger came to the town of Hamelin. He carried a flute along with him. He had a stern look on his face and walked straight to the mayor's building. He faced the mayor of Hamelin and said, "It is very well known around Germany that Hamelin has a problem with rats. I have a secret charm to summon all creatures on the earth, any creature who walks, swims, or flies. But I only use my charm on creatures who are harmful like moles, newts, or rats." "Rats? You can summon rats?" said the mayor. The piper said, "Believe it or not, I've freed the people of the African town from a huge swarm of gnats. In an Asian town, I rescued people from vampire bats. I roam around the world to rescue people from creatures." The mayor said, "Okay, show us your charm and free us from these rats." The piper said, "Definitely, sir, but in return, you will give me 1,000 gold coins as a reward." For a moment, the mayor was stunned. It was difficult for him to believe that a stranger who was coming from somewhere else suddenly was claiming he could drive away all the rats from his city. 10,000 gold coins from our treasury, if you can do as you promise," said the mayor. The piper nodded his head and said, "In a day's time, Hamelin will have no rats." Then the piper walked out in the street, pulled out his flute, and started playing it. An eerie sound floated in the air. The people of Hamelin could hear the beautiful tune from every corner of Hamelin and were paralyzed, hearing this enchanting tone. All of a sudden, there was a whirring noise. Thousands of rats came from various directions. They followed the eerie sound that came from the piper's flute. It seemed that the rats were mesmerized with the delightful tone of the flute. The piper headed towards the sea with all the rats of Hamelin standing up, starting to walk and dance behind him. It was an extraordinary sight for the folks of Hamelin. The piper was continuously playing the flute and walked right into the sea. The rats followed him, and all of them were caught by the waves, which dragged them into the sea. All the rats of Hamelin drowned. The entire town is joyously celebrating their triumph over the plague, with everyone immersed in a serene atmosphere of happiness. The next day, Piper came to the mayor for his reward. "I have done my job. It's time for you to keep your promise," the mayor said. "You did a wonderful job, Piper, but 1,000 gold coins for a task for a couple of hours? It's a big amount of money to pay." "I will pay you 100 gold coins, which is more than enough for a day's work." The piper said, "This is not right, Mayor. If you are not fulfilling your promise, I will show you what I can do." "Stupid piper like you can't harm a single brick in this town. Take this money or leave the town now," said the mayor. The piper left the hall and came onto the street and pulled out his pipe again. He put it on his mouth and started playing. But this time, the tune was different. One by one, the children turned their heads and started to walk towards the piper. The piper started walking, and the children followed him. Their parents and guardians were stunned with the tune and couldn't move from their places. The piper walked across the river bridge and marched towards the mountain. As he reached a mountainside, a mysterious cave opened in the mountain, and the piper went inside, and the children followed him. Then the entry of the cave disappeared behind them. The only one left outside the cave was a lame boy who couldn't reach before it disappeared. As the tune stopped, the people ran towards the mountain, and they found only one child near the mountain. The people asked the little boy about the other children. The little boy said, "All the other children went into a cave, and the entry of the cave disappeared before I could reach it." People continued to ask the little boy, "But why were you all following him?" That tone promised to lead me to a wonderland where all the houses are made of chocolates and cookies, and it even told me that I can run on my feet everywhere again. But the music stopped. Then I found myself in front of this mountain alone. The people felt sad and started crying for their children, but it was of no use. They called the mayor and blamed him for everything. The mayor said, "I have lost my child too. I'm sorry for everything I've done." This man came out of nowhere and saved us from an epidemic. All that I did in return was to be selfish and ungrateful. The mayor, feeling ashamed of his actions, shouted loudly towards the mountain wall, "Piper! Piper! I have brought you 1,000 coins as promised. Please give us our children back. Please come out wherever you are." To their surprise, the Pied Piper came out walking from behind the mountain. Everyone was relieved after seeing him. "We are really sorry about what we have done. I owe you my apology." "Piper, where are our children?" said the mayor. The piper said, "They are all safe and happy, and they will come back once you fulfill your promise." The mayor gave him 1,000 gold coins, and immediately the entry of the cave appeared in the mountain. Children came out running and hugged their parents. The mayor said, "I thank you on behalf of this whole town. Thank you for rescuing us from the rats and giving back our children. I will never break a promise again." The piper said, "I believe you've learned your lesson now. It's time for me to say goodbye." Then the piper waved his hands, disappeared in the woods, and left, never to be seen again. Children, wasn't this story interesting? It is important to keep your word. If you promise to do something, try your best to do it. That way, people can trust you. Imagine if you were waiting for someone and they promised to play with you but didn't show up. How would that make you feel? So, let's always try to be someone others can count on by keeping our promises. All right, that's the end of the story. Goodbye.